Good evening, everybody, or good morning, or good afternoon, or good super late at night, whenever you might be watching this. Welcome to episode 23 of Chip Off the Old Black. Episode 23, 23 0, Kelly Robinson 23 0, Chip Off the Old Black, Kelly Robinson 23 0. How you doing? Anyway, welcome to Chip Off the Old Black. That gentleman over there is the Old Black, and I am the aforementioned chip that fell off of it. And welcome to episode 23 of the show. Dad, how you doing?
Doing great, bud. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. Let me get this.
Well,
Let me get this
you're
candle
not
fired
quite
up.
awesome yet. You got something to do first. You got to get that thing lit.
I'll tell you what, too. This one's burning down. This might be the last week of the sandalwood and oud candle.
The sandalwood and oud may have bought the farm.
It might be. So we'll have to decide what's next. Matter of fact, I'm having a hard time getting it lit. Uh,
Uh-oh.
and I do not need a repeat performance of what happened a few weeks back. There we go.
Is it lit?
Okay. Speaking of a repeat performance, and also speaking of these fabulous mugs,
Fabo mug.
mm, fabulous mugs. Before we get to how our weeks have been and other tasks that we have to get to tonight,
And there's a
we
lot.
have a special announcement. Chip Off the Old Black has extended its merch line. Well, not maybe not extended the merch because it's still the same freaking merch, but diversified. We've
Diversified.
diversified.
You got to
We've
diversify.
diversified the merch line. You can now get not one, not even two, but three different Chip Off the Old Black coffee mugs, just like this one here, $14.99. And let me tell you the designs real quick. First, you have this design here, the classic design of our logo. And then you have our football mug with Dad and I in OU football attire. And it looks like we're sitting at OU Stadium. So that's for football season, which is rapidly approaching. And
Rapidly.
then we have a very special design. We have a very special design that deserves a special shout out. We have a design of Dad and I at Yankee Stadium wearing Oklahoma hats, and I am lighting a candle and electrocuting myself with the candle lighter. The reason that design came about is a very dear friend of mine, Valentine. I had told her about that design, and she told me in no uncertain terms, if that was on a mug, I will buy it in an instant. She said, I really will. I'm dead serious. And I said, well, then that needs to be on a mug then.
That
Say
needs to be on a
less.
mug.
So shout out to my dear friend Valentine who inspired the idea for the what Dad is calling the shocking chip off the old black mugs.
The shocking chick off the old black mug. It has now been released. We will be watching those orders come in now.
Yes, the mugs will be flying off the proverbial shelf, the virtual shelves.
Flying off the virtual shelf, yes.
That's right. Anyway, Dad, how's your week been?
You know, kind of busy, but just quiet. Nothing out of the ordinary, like last week. Now, there may be for next week's show because I am going fishing in the morning early, with the same guy, no motorhome. We're going to try it without the motorhome this time and without the tree, and go to a beautiful place there in Wasilla and see if we can catch some fish and certainly see if we can get some footage. I had a little technical difficulty with some of my B-roll stuff last week. Hopefully, I've got that solved. But I'm no tech guru. I just do the best I can.
Well, awesome. Awesome. That sounds like fun going fishing in the morning. That reminds me of when you and I went to McGee Creek when I was a kid.
Yes, and I left the plug out of the boat and had to jump in to put
Yeah,
the plug
yes, you
back in.
did.
Yeah, yeah. I think we've shared
Um,
that story.
we
That was
we have shared that story.
we have shared that
Uh,
story.
my
How's
my
your week?
week's my
How's your
week's been
week been?
about this. My week's been about the same. Not a whole lot to report. I will say some just a small funny story. Um, yesterday I had an issue with the tip of the tip on my cane. And for those of you, it always makes me laugh because I would compare it. It's like the equivalent of a sighted person getting a flat tire. Uh, so my cane tip is supposed to roll with little to no effort on my part. It's supposed to roll pretty much on its own. But if it gets enough grit and grime and dirt and stuff in it, it just stops. It won't. And so I showed it to our comms, our O&M specialist, and he said, "Did you by any chance take this hiking in Alaska or maybe stick it in the ocean?" And I was like, uh, maybe."
Maybe.
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, this tip is ruined." He said, "There is so much sand and grit and stuff in here. There's nothing I can do about this."
Now,
Um, so
is that the same cane that had the blowout here?
Yes, it is, and I got it fixed. I got
Okay.
it. My good friend, put a new bungee cord in the center of my cane, so the bungee cord is fixed. But now I was having issues with the tip. Apparently, sticking the tip of your cane into the Pacific Ocean is not recommended.
Not good.
Um, but what's good about where I work is we have a store, like an actual store on site where you can purchase mobility products and tools, including cane tips. Uh, that store was closed yesterday, but I have a key, so I may or may not have gone in the store. I didn't need to turn any lights on and stole a cane tip and
No, no,
left. And
you didn't steal. You just borrowed without permission.
I just borrowed without permission and also without payment. But I'm incriminating myself on here because the very next day, so today actually, I went to the people who manage the store, told them what happened, and it's no big deal. But it just kind of made me laugh because that really is basically the equivalent of someone with a car getting a flat tire. The difference is dad cannot just sneak into a tire store. He can't sneak into a Goodyear while it's closed and just take a tire. Like, I'll pay for this later.
I'll pay for it later. Roll it out. Not to mention, I couldn't. So you just got the new tip. Were you able to attach it yourself?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Attaching a tip is easy. You
Okay.
just pull out the tips have a hook on them, and you just pull the bungee cord out of the bottom, unhook the old one, and hook the new one back on. It's very easy.
So unhook the old one, get all the sand and salt and gravel and sea
I
urchins
just
out
I
of it.
just I just threw it away. I mean, it was completely stuck. It would not roll even a little bit. It was done, but that's okay. No big deal. I got a new tip. I'm good to go. But anyway, that is my week so far. I hope your fishing trip goes well. So I think it is time that we segue into the dead gummit blowout.
Dadgummit
And I
blowout.
tell you what, those poor mariners. Um, they were a biblical dadgummit blowout
Yes,
last week.
they were.
They literally made MLB history. For those who need a reminder, the Brewers blew out the Mariners 22 to nothing last week. Hasn't been done in baseball. It's only been tied in the modern age, and it hasn't been beaten since the late 1800s. Um, in case the Mariners were not embarrassed enough by that biblical dadgummit blowout on Sunday, so less than a week after that dadgummit blowout, they got blown out by the Chicago Cubs to the tune of 19-2.
22 and 19. That's 41 to 2 in the last 2 weeks.
So yeah, 41-2. So not quite as bad as 22 to nothing, but still pretty bad.
Yeah, that is and the funny thing is with baseball, they'll probably end up in the playoffs.
They just might. It could happen. Speaking of teams that have no business in the playoffs but could actually end up there, the Kansas City Royals. They were, unfortunately, I have to use the word were. They were on a 9-game winning streak,
Oh my word.
complete with two sweeps. Uh, they finally lost tonight to the Toronto Blue Jays, and it wasn't even a bad loss. It was 3-0, which sucks when you don't score anything, but it wasn't a daggum blah. And I have a friend of mine at work. He's a huge Royals fan, and he he was really preaching to me today that if the Royals can keep winning, they're only 7 games. I didn't realize this. They're only 7 games out of the wild card. So he's like, if the Royals can keep winning, then they actually could just like barely sneak in the back door of the playoffs. And then I was like, yeah, but do we really want them in there?
I noticed this dadgummit blowout segment. The Royals have been conspicuously absent. Now I know why. They've won 9 in
They
a row.
have. I think they had a locker room meeting and someone said, I am sick and tired of being on the dadgummit blowout thing.
I am sick of us being featured in the dadgummit blowout segment. Well, we've given them the proper motivation, and now they're getting after it.
They are getting after it. They did lose tonight, but they had a 9-game winning streak going. So that's really good. In baseball, when you're playing almost every day, that's good. In other baseball news, and this segment is especially dedicated to my cousin. Isn't Paul my cousin?
Huh? Sorry?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Paul
Okay,
is Paul is my cousin's husband. So I don't know what that makes
okay.
to you. Probably nothing.
Absolutely nothing. It's
Absolutely
like that scene in
nothing.
It's like that scene in Spaceballs. I am your father's brother's girlfriend's aunt's former roommate.
Yes.
That makes us absolutely nothing.
That makes us absolutely nothing.
Well, anyway, Paul, who is of some sort of relation to me, is a huge Cards fan. I am not, and he knows that. But having said that, the Cardinals rookie Joshua Baez did have a historic opening night. He really did. I don't care what jersey he's wearing. A historic opening night is what it is. And his first pitch, not even his first at bat, his first pitch the first pitch he ever saw in Major League Baseball, he hit for a home run. And then he would go on to hit 2 more home runs, being the only baseball player in Major League history to hit 3 home runs on their opening night on their first game.
Yeah, they had just called him up from the minors, right? They had just called him up. That was first game, first pitch. He knocks it out of the park.
First pitch he ever saw in Major League Baseball, and he knocks it out of the park. Wow. And then he hit 3 total home runs that game, and that has never been done before by a rookie in his opening game in the history of Major League Baseball.
And you're right. Whatever jersey he's wearing, doesn't matter when they do something like that. That's really cool. We do thank Paul, in all seriousness, for bringing this to our attention. I told Paul when he messaged me, hey, you need to talk about this, and he made a comment. And I said, I'm surprised Cameron missed it because he has notifications all over the place all the time on his phone. However, as Cameron pointed out to me, not for the Cardinals. He doesn't. No. He's a Kansas City Royal fan, so he does not like the Cardinals. However,
I have notifications. I have notifications for every team, but that means that also some notifications get so piled up, even I don't look at all of them. So it's very possible that I just missed that, or I saw that it was Cardinals and didn't pay any further attention. That's possible too.
That's possible too.
But anyway, congratulations to Joshua Baez. Makes me sick that he's wearing a Cardinals jersey. He'll probably never be in a Royals jersey because someone's going to pay him a lot of money, and it's not going to be the Royals. But that's awesome though.
It's not going to be the Royals. There's rich teams, then there's poor teams,
and there's 50 feet of crap, and then there's the Royals.
And then there's the Royals.
Yeah, it's not going to be the Royals, but good for him. That's awesome. Okay, moving on from the dadgummit blah and baseball. Moving on from baseball. Last week we introduced a new segment that I felt like went extremely well. And the new segment is called Audio Describing Alaska. And the idea behind this segment is that I love visiting Alaska. I truly do. But a lot of people love to take pictures, and just the beauty of photos is kind of lost on me. Now, I want to give credit where credit is due here, though. I was talking to my older sister earlier, who all of you should remember, Dr. Black. I was talking to Dr. Black earlier today, and she reminded me that while I don't benefit from the photos, my family really does try very hard to make it a tactile experience for me. Like when my sister and I were walking on the beach, she was showing me rocks and bull kelp
Rubbing your
and
face in the sand.
oyster shells and all sorts of things. So my family really does work extremely hard and does a phenomenal job making it a tactile experience for me, since photos are lost on me. But since photos are lost on me, in this new segment, Dad is going to put a photo on the screen, and he is going to describe to me as best he can what the photo is of and what it looks like. And if anyone feels like Dad has left out a detail that would really help me out and would give me a further understanding, like my dear mother did in the last episode, if anyone feels like a detail has been left out, then please drop it in the comments section. And feel free to use basic colors: red, orange, yellow, blue, green, black, white, brown, stuff like that. Feel free to use that. So, having said all of that, Dad, what is this week's photo?
Okay, this week's photo, and it's interesting you were talking about how we try to provide some tactile experiences for you when you come here, because this photo you will relate to. So picture that, and I, as I said in the last one, we don't use scripts, but I do make notes specifically for this section because I want to make sure I can do the best job I can do describing it for Cameron, so he knows what it looks like, so he can envision it. So Cameron, picture the creek itself first. This is I think it's called the Miracle of Spawn. Uh, this is an image that was captured at a place called Crescent Creek in Cooper Landing, Alaska. Ironically, ironically, the same place where I went fishing last week with Matt and the motorhome incident. Okay, so picture the creek itself first, Cameron. The water is dark and clear, cool looking, clear enough that you can see straight down to the gravel bottom in the shallow spots. On the right side of the image, there's a lady standing waist deep in it. That lady is your mother. She's got auburn hair, pulled back, and she's wearing the exact same waders that you wore when you did it. Remember when you did it?
I do. I loved it. Loved it.
And I knew when I selected this photo that you had experienced the tactile, the other sensory uh, methods that you could experience it, but you
Yeah.
did not experience it visually.
I
So
remember the water.
back
I
to
remember
the
the waders.
image.
I remember all of that.
One of the things about shooting a live show outdoors in Alaska, per capita, they lead the nation in people with private pilot's license. So there's always a plane going over. Sorry about that. Okay, on the
No
right
problem.
side, she's waist deep in it. She's got auburn hair pulled back. She's wearing the exact same waders that you wore. Around her, Cameron, and I mean surrounding her, 30, maybe 40 salmon at least, packed into this one stretch of water. Their bodies have turned deep red, almost a dried blood crimson, with darker olive green heads. A few are still fighting the current, cutting little white waifs on the surface, but most are just sitting there, barely moving because they're worn out. Behind her, there's this wall of green trees and tall grass that's gone golden at the tips, because I think that shot was maybe in August, probably the end of August, which is turning fall here. It's overcast, so the light is soft and flat. There's no real shadows. She's just standing dead still in the middle of all that red and green and gray water. She's just watching. We call her the salmon whisperer. So did that help you visualize what you experienced physically?
Yes, that helped a lot. It helped a whole lot. Maybe even better than last week's photo because that is something that I have experienced. I've been in a creek or a river or whatever it was in Alaska and felt salmon swimming by me, and I've been in the waders, and I of course know what mom looks like. So yes, that helped immensely. That was awesome. And for those of you, again, if there's a detail that maybe Dad missed that you think would help me out and give me a better understanding and a better visualization, please drop it in the comments. If you liked this print is available as our other prints, a lot like it, at toddblackphotography.com. ToddBlackPhotography.com.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. You got
yeah.
you spelled photography this time. That's a way to go.
Mom left it in the comments. I took notes.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Yeah, she did. Okay, moving on. Speaking of comments, we have some comments from a couple prior episodes that we need to address. Do we not?
Yes. Last week, uh, Angel Black, I think 6797. I think that's her. I think that's her account name.
It's
She
mom.
asked about a couple of game versus sports. Seems like a lot of the comments we get, Cameron, are this game versus sports. They're going down that lane. Uh,
It has been
one,
a very polarizing topic.
yes, it has. One of the she talked about toe wrestling, and and we did talk about toe wrestling. Uh, but she also talked about something called Bo-Taoshi.
We got some flack from a viewer about toe wrestling too. Who knew that toe wrestling would be so
Who knew that it'd be
controversial?
so controversial? But it was.
Yeah.
Uh, Bo-Taoshi, Cameron looked up, he researched it the best he could and couldn't find enough to really talk about it last week. So I researched and I came across a lot of the same things, which was not very much, to what he came across. I'm going to go right. I made notes about it because it's frankly it's so ridiculous that I made notes about it. Okay. It is a capture the flag game, as you mentioned last week, played on sports days at school in Japan. Here's one of the big kickers, Cameron. I researched nowhere else on the planet is this recognized as a sport or recognized, period. Okay. Uh, each team splits into 75 attackers and 75 defenders. So the two teams of 150 people each are trying to take control of of the opposing team's pole, and we'll just leave that.
The opposing team's what?
We'll leave that alone. Okay. Uh,
Their pole?
the pole. Yeah, they're trying to take.
I hate it. I hate it when people try to control someone else's pole.
I know that's terrible.
It
Uh,
really burns me up.
the defenders start in formation around their own pole. Okay.
Yeah, they should stick to their own pole.
They
Leave
stick
the
to
other
their own
people's pole
pole.
alone.
Attackers line up a distance from the enemy pole. The pole itself is about a 12-foot upright post. Okay, that's
Dang.
impressive. Attackers try to jump, punch, claw, pull,
Dang!
climb, dang, try to pull their way through defenders to pull it down to a 30-degree angle. A match lasts 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes.
That sounds about right.
The referee signals the loss for the flag once the pole hits that angle. If nobody wins in time, the bad news is they have to do it again. There's a
So
okay.
once your
This
pole
is
is bent, you
we got
lose.
we got to be serious here, Cameron. There's a defender who rides at the top of the pole. Nickname. Okay. As you said last week, I promise I'm not making any of this up. There's a defender who rides at the top of the pole, nicknamed the Ninja.
It is a sports statement, and it is no way a sexual reference.
No
That's what
way a
they said
sexual
in
reference.
Talladega Nights.
Who kicks attackers away to keep it balanced. Punching, kicking, strangling, and pulling heads off are technically prohibited.
As I said last week, I mean, you got to defend that pole.
Yeah, defend that pole. Okay. Uh, a term
As I
they're
said last week, though,
disqualified.
if it's
They're disqualified after 3 fouls. So if you pull three guys' heads off, you're
as I
disqualified.
said last week, though, if it's in the rules not to do it, that means it has a tendency to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, enforcement is loose in practice. According to Wikipedia, they don't enforce that twisting the head off and biting and chewing and all that stuff.
So there's
Shoes are not
75 on each
worn. Wait
team,
a
so you
minute.
can
Wait. I'm
twist
not
off.
quite done yet. Shoes aren't worn because of all the climbing and jumping on people. Soft helmets, knee pads, and cups are used. Well, based on trying to trying to control the opposing team's pole, I see why that last item may be used. I'm not sure.
It ain't no Dixie cup, and it ain't no coffee mug,
Ain't
and
no
you sure
coffee
don't want to
mug.
be drinking out of it.
Certainly don't want to be drinking out of it. Bo-Taoshi, not recognized anywhere else on the planet as a sport, has no federation, leagues, or championship. Okay, uh, Cameron, unless you are in opposition to this, I don't think we need to open the scroll for uh, Bo-Taoshi. I don't know
No.
how it fit. I don't know what how it would even line up as a sport. Nor does anybody else on the planet. Only in Japan. Uh, so anyway, that was a comment from last week, and we have addressed it now. So yeah, without even opening the scroll, we do not endorse Bo-Taoshi as a sport, do we, Cameron?
Sorry to all the Japanese people that might watch this show. Also, it's probably been like a Japanese tradition for centuries, and we just made a mockery of.
Well, hopefully not. We meant no disrespect. We meant no
No,
disrespect.
no disrespect at all. We just don't acknowledge it as a real sport. That's all.
Okay. Now I think that you have a couple of them that you researched that are from that same viewer, correct?
I did. This particular viewer keeps giving us fabulous content. Um, both of these are ridiculous. They both belong in the old obscure sports quarterly.
On the
Um,
Ocho.
we'll cover the slightly less ridiculous one first. The slightly less ridiculous one is pumpkin regatta, and it is exactly what it sounds like. Um, it people get into hollowed out pumpkins. It is said some of them can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. They get into hollowed out pumpkins and they row them or sail them across a body of water. And it actually happens it happens every year. It's usually like a fall thing. It happens, they've done it in New Hampshire, they've done it in Maine, they've done it in Oregon, in Wisconsin, like it. And apparently people just come out in droves to watch the pumpkin regattas. But it's pretty much a regatta. But instead of sailing boats, it's hollowed out pumpkins that people are in.
Hollowed out pump. I know I'm gonna hate myself for even asking, but I wonder how they keep that. That's how do you keep 1,000 pound pumpkin? I mean, how do you keep it afloat? But
I
I,
wondered that very thing. I was like, are we sure these things are really seaworthy?
yes, your mother and I have booked a cruise on the Great Pumpkin after she read about the pumpkin regatta, she thought that sounded great. The best. So after the regatta's over, do they chop up the pumpkin and make pies out of it, or what?
I don't know. I also wonder if the pumpkin weighs 1,000 pounds and they had to hollow it out. Does that mean there's like a mound of that disgusting like pumpkin innards somewhere and pumpkin seeds? Because that's gross.
That's gross, man. That's gross, man.
That's gross, man. But I suppose if you want, we can unroll the scroll for a pumpkin regatta.
Okay.
Uh,
I have the scroll in my hand. I'm untying the bow. We're opening the scroll. The official scroll. Whoops, I forgot to add the new criteria to it. So I'm going to have to print out a new scroll before next week's show.
oh yeah,
Criteria
you're gonna
one,
have to.
if you can play it competitively more than once a day, not a sport. Okay, how long before the pumpkin rots and just turns to mush and won't float at all? That would be the
Yeah,
only.
there's that. There's that. Also, hauling 1,000 pound pumpkin across a body of water, that sounds exhausting.
Does and they're well, they affix a sail to it, I guess, because it's more than a
I
1,000 pounds.
guess.
It's 1,000 pounds plus the people that are in it.
Yeah. So that I bet you they wouldn't do that more than once a day. I don't
Okay,
know about a regular regatta. I don't think regular regattas go once more than once a day, do
no,
they?
no, they don't. They don't.
No. Okay, then it meets criteria one,
Oh,
which is more than toe wrestling got.
just more than toe wrestling. Criteria two: if the if there's no reasonable chance of serious injury when participating.
I
I guess
suppose your pumpkin could capsize and you could drown.
yeah, your pumpkin could sink and you could drown. Other than that,
Yep.
but that's a pretty serious injury when you seriously killed.
Yeah,
So,
death's pretty serious injury.
so I'm going to say yes. You could be. There's a reasonable chance of a serious injury. There's a reasonable chance because you're floating in a pumpkin. Number one, not a boat. So there's a reasonable chance, and you could get seriously injured. Okay.
You seriously
Criteria
kill.
Criteria three: if you do not need to be in excellent physical condition to participate, it's not a sport. We already mentioned it. If you're rolling 1,000 pound pumpkin across a body of water,
You probably have to be in at least decent. You probably don't have to be in like football player shape, but you probably need to be in fairly decent shape. That sounds hard.
I would say so. Criteria four: if you do not need to be highly skilled to participate, it is not a sport. I would say
I'm not sure you need highly skilled to steer a pumpkin
I don't
across a
know.
body of water.
In any regatta, in any sailing regatta, those people are highly skilled. They're not just
I
along
mean
for the ride.
that's true. This is not going how I thought it would.
No,
We are
it's not.
getting dangerously close to pronouncing pumpkin regatta as a sport.
Okay, the last criteria: if the winner or loser is not decided by a judge or a panel of judges. If it is decided by a judge or a panel of judges, it is not a sport. This one is not decided by judges, I'm assuming.
I mean, a regatta is a race, right?
Yep, it's a boat race, or in this case, a pumpkin boat race.
It's a pumpkin race. So
Cameron,
it is not decided by a panel of judges. Ergo,
Earth.
pumpkin regatta, we have no choice
I don't think we
but to
do.
endorse pumpkin regatta as a sport.
I don't think we do. It's official. As embarrassing as it is, Chip Off the Old Black is going to have to endorse pumpkin regatta as a sport based on the criteria that we've created. You in agreement with that, Cameron?
I don't have a choice. I have to be in agreement with that. Yeah, that's not how I thought that one was going to go. I did
No,
not see that coming.
did not see
Okay.
that one coming.
Next, we have submitted by that same viewer. We have another obscure sport. Now, this one, I told Dad during our pregame, this one might alienate some of our female fans. But this
Keep
comment came from a female.
Came from a female.
Uh, so Chip Off the Old Black is not responsible for any hurt feelings or anything like that. The next one is wife carrying, and it is also exactly what it sounds like.
I thought it
I
was wife.
researched it.
Oh, it's wife carrying. I thought it was wife throwing.
No, you do not throw your wife. That's terrible.
Okay.
not wife chucking. It's wife carrying.
Wife carrying. Okay.
Uh, I looked up wife carrying, and before we get to the scroll, a little background because even the background I think is kind of funny.
Wait a minute. There's
Uh,
history to wife carrying?
oh yeah, there's a rich, colorful background.
Rich, colorful
It's
history. Okay.
it's been around since the 90s. It originated in Finland, and there are three theories as to how it originated. Two of those theories involve abduction. Uh,
Okay.
Here are the three theories. It is said that in Finland, thieves would often kidnap women from nearby villages and carry them out of those villages on their backs. Uh, is you know what? I'm trying to remember the second one. The second one is very very similar. Something I can't remember the exact theory behind the second one, but it's still something to do with forcibly removing women from their villages and making them be your wife or something. So there's the first two, both involving abducting women and carrying them on your backs. If you were like a band of thieves or bandits or whatever in Finland, and the third theory said that leaders of thieves and and groups of thieves and bandits in Finland would sometimes train their groups of thieves by making them run around with big, huge sacks or rocks on their back. And I guess that's the equivalent of women in Finland, I suppose. Uh, so that is really where it came from. You don't believe me? Look it up. There's no way I can make that up. So it's really quite simple. It is also a race. You go through a designated route, an obstacle, like kind of like an obstacle course. You don't have to jump over anything or anything like that, but just
You
think
don't have
that
to
you have
jump
to
while you're
run
carrying your
around
wife.
while you are carrying your wife. You can either there are there are three there are three ways that you can carry your wife that are allowed. You can carry her piggyback, okay? You can carry her fireman style, or you can carry her with like her hanging down your back and her legs around your neck. Um, those are the three legal ways to carry your wife in wife carrying.
So
That's
where
so that's
where
all
does
there
this
is to
take
it. The
place?
first husband to haul his broad across the finish line wins.
So where does this take place? Where do they play this?
It originated in Finland, but it has actually now been played. It has been played in Finland, Australia, uh, Europe. I believe it's even been played in the U.S. It's been played in quite a few places.
So the object of the game is they get on a starting line carrying their wife in one of the three acceptable ways.
One
They
of the three
fire a
acceptable
gun,
variations. Yes.
they fire a starter pistol, and you just start running.
Yeah. You start running with your wife on your back in some form or another, and you run a designated route, running around obstacles, uphill, downhill. Whoever crosses the finish line with their broad first wins.
Okay. I guess we have to get out the scroll on this one.
I guess we got it out for pumpkin regatta and toe wrestling, so I think we have to get it out for this one too.
Criteria one, if you can play it competitively more than once a day, not a sport. I will say it doesn't sound like the wife could play it more than once a day. Uh, she'd have it worse than the husband would.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say probably once a day for wife carrying
Yeah, wife
is
carrying once a day. Criteria two, there is no reasonable chance of serious injury when participating unless you drop your wife. Then there's going to be some serious injury to the wife and to you for dropping the wife. Yeah, there's definitely got to be serious injury if you're doing that.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. You can't say it because you have a wife, and we don't want you to get in trouble. I don't have a wife. Uh, and after I say this, it might ensure that I stay that way. I think the serious injury also depends on how big your wife is. I'm just I'm just saying.
There's that. Criteria. So there is a chance of serious injury, a, a decent
There is
chance.
a chance. There is a chance of serious injury to both parties. Yes.
Yes. Criteria three: if you do not need to be in excellent physical condition to participate, it's not a sport. Clearly, you have to be in some kind of condition to be able to run carrying your wife on your back, right?
Again, I think it may go back to how petite your wife is. I wonder if I wonder if they like get onto each other. Like they go out to eat one night and the wife orders dessert and the husband's like, "You better not eat that if I'm going to be carrying you this year."
Hey, don't eat that. She's on bread and water until after the races
She's
run.
she's on bread and water for the wife carrying competition.
Criteria four: if you do not need to be highly skilled to participate, not a sport. Okay, I don't. It doesn't pass this one. I don't. Do
No,
you,
I
do
don't
you
think you
think you
need
have to
many
be highly
skills to
skilled or
haul your
just?
wife through a race course.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be highly skilled. So it fails that one. Criteria five, the new criteria: if the winner or loser is decided by a judge or panel of judges, it is not a sport. Clearly, it is not decided by a judge, right?
No, if I'm understanding it correctly, I think it's a race.
Yeah.
So no, it is not decided by a panel of judges.
Okay, Cameron, this one isn't turning out like we thought it would either.
It is not. Don't tell me we're going to have to endorse both these stupid things as sports.
You know,
Can't,
I think
can't we adopt Matt's criteria where if it's
it's
just
just
dumb,
dumb. If it's just
it's
dumb,
just dumb.
we may
Matt,
have to add that. We may have to think about that. But right now, that is not a criteria. So, based on the scroll, Cameron, I don't know if I can say it. I'm going to make you say it. Based on the scroll, what?
why do I have to say it? Based on the scroll, chip off the old black endorses wife carrying as a sport.
Wow. Okay.
You and mom need to see if there's any wife carrying clubs in Alaska.
Yeah, I think there's 5 or 6 of them all over the place. You just,
Sure
you know,
are.
pick up your wife carrier all over the place. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so those were two that were from last week, right? Last
Yes,
week's comments.
those were left in last week's comments. Yes.
Here's one more that was in last week's comments. Bocce ball, game or a sport? Uh, I searched and searched. I found out how you play bocce ball. I still didn't understand it for sure. So I watched some videos. I searched and searched for one that I could download for free and put in as B-roll, and I only came up with one. And I'm hoping that it's playing now or it's about to play. If I don't have any technical issues. Please note if it's playing now, and your sister chimed in the comments and said that this is a big deal in France. There's a red flag
Yeah,
right there. There's a
it
red
is.
flag. If the French call it a sport while they're drinking wine and smoking a cigarette, that's trouble. Okay. If the B roll is playing, you will see, I think, 3 people evidently playing bocce ball. Look at the way they are dressed. I don't think I need to say any more. Uh, if it's a sport, you don't play it in high heel sandals. Yeah, they're dressed like they're fixing to go to the theater and they're playing bocce ball. So I think the best I can understand, uh, Cameron, is bocce ball maybe kind of a cross between shuffleboard. It may be between shuffleboard and curling, something similar. Although curling looks extraordinarily dangerous and athletic compared to what I saw in bocce ball. Uh, I can't. You know, I'm not. I don't even think we need to get the scroll out. Can you play it more than once? You can play it 100 times a day. Uh, do you have to be extremely skilled? I guess if you're playing in a bocce ball tournament, uh, but no, you don't have to be. Uh, you have to be in great shape. Again, if the B-roll played, look at how athletic those people look. Not that they're not athletic, but they look like they're going to dinner. So yeah. I'm just gonna say no. We're not even gonna go the scroll on that one, Cameron. I'm just gonna say no. I'm not saying that it doesn't look like a fun game, but that's all it is, a fun game. It's not a whole lot not a whole lot more challenging than bowling, frankly. And we've already covered bowling. So unless you got something to add on bocce ball.
I don't have anything to add. It is not lost on me. I'm prepared for us to get some flack that we are not endorsing bocce ball. You still won't endorse baseball, but we just endorse pumpkin regatta and wife carrying.
Well, they made it somehow, they made it through the criteria.
I
Uh
think our credibility is starting to slide a little bit.
okay. It's it has I will say between bocce ball and Bo-Taoshi, it has some similarity. The object in bocce ball is to get your team's balls closer to the small. There seems to be an underlying theme in the sports for some reason, or the games tonight. So anyway,
There's
yeah,
definitely,
bocce
yeah.
ball, nah, might be a fun game, not a sport. Okay, that
No,
I think that
I'm gonna
takes
have
care
to
of
agree.
last week's comments, don't you?
Yeah, I think we've covered that pretty thoroughly. I think the last segment that we have to get to is we you had something you wanted to say. You wanted to get people to comment on something that I'll let you introduce, and then it is time for one of Dad and I's favorite times of year. Of course, we're talking about college football is right around the corner, but with college football also comes picks. And Dad and I are super excited about picks. I will let Dad explain the rules of picks, how to join, and what picks look like. But if you would like to play college pick'em with Dad and myself and a bunch of other people, it is a lot of fun. It is totally free, and I will let Dad explain how to join picks for those who would like to.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. I kind of started this, I don't know how many years ago, but I started this college pick'em group. Two things to make sure you understand first. Number one, it's free. Number two, this isn't fantasy football. I played fantasy football. It's very time consuming. This is not. Uh, you're going to pick 10 games, 10 college games every week, and then you're going to rank them confidence factor between 10 and 1. 1 is your least confident pick. For me, that's like Oklahoma against anybody.
That's Oklahoma versus everyone.
That's my 1 point pick. Uh, 10 is your most confident pick. Okay. If you want to join the group, it's real simple. You're going to go to espn.com and create an account if you don't already have one. After you create an account, and I wrote the instructions down. I've done it. I've done it so many times that I don't pay attention to how I get there. I just get there. Anyway, mouse over fantasy, and you're going to click college pick'em, then click groups. You're going to search for the group, and that's our group that Cameron spoke about. It's called Alaskan Sooner. Alaskan with a capital A, space, Sooner with a capital S. Okay. And it's going to ask for a password. The password is Boomer, Boomer, all caps. Once you do that, you will see the group, whether there's 10, 12, 15, 18 of us, however many, and you will see your entry will be at the top with the blue link. By default, your entry will be called, if it's like mine, if I didn't change mine, it would be called Todd's Picks 1, I think. Upper right, there's a little gear icon. You can click and you can edit the name of your entry. And then all the games, I'm not going to say all the games because anymore they've kind of, once in a while, a Friday game will be included, but that's usually at the end of the year. Almost all the 10 games that they select, ESPN selects them. We don't. And they're almost all of them are on Saturday. So you'll need to make your picks before Saturday. Once the game kicks, you cannot change your pick. You can change your pick prior to the kick. Again, you pick the
Much to
game.
my chagrin.
Much to our chagrin. You pick the winner and you pick the confidence factor, and that's it. Takes
And then you tune in to Chip Off the Old Black the week after, where we will be discussing picks and who won that week of picks and who is currently in the lead and how bad are Dad and I's picks in the toilet.
How bad are we in the toilet? Okay, free, not fantasy football. It's real quick. It's just for bragging rights, really. So that is what I have to say about that, Cameron.
All right. And you've got something else to say. You have a comment challenge, I do believe.
Well, I do. I have a comment challenge. College football, this is actually week 0. So for those of you, we've had viewers on both sides of the aisle, Cameron. Some of them have been messaging and putting comments in that, hey, there's too much sports in your sports show. Others have been just as militant the other way. Hey, there's not enough sports in your sports show. I had one viewer that messaged me twice today. Are you going to talk about football in your show this week? And I said, well, a little bit, but Oklahoma football doesn't start for another 10 days. We'll talk about it then. And he said, well, Oklahoma football, you talk about that? I said, yes, I will. Thanks, Alex. We're going to get to it right now. Oklahoma does not play this week. This is called week 0. For those of us that could not wait until week 1, now they created week 0, where there's a handful of games. There's a couple, if you are a college football fan, that might be worth watching. North Carolina,
like the Colgate fighting toothpaste, isn't that this weekend?
The Colgate fighting toothpaste, the Colgate fighting toothbrushes, I think, play this weekend. But now there's a couple of FBS games that probably would be pretty good. Could be North Carolina versus TCU is in Ireland, where there's no corn. They're playing in Ireland. Wouldn't you just love that, to have to travel to Ireland to play football? But anyway, that one is on ESPN, 11 a.m. your time, Cameron, 8 a.m. my time. And then NC State at Virginia. If I'm not mistaken, they're still both in the ACC, so it's kind of unusual to have a conference game this early. But they play Saturday on ESPN at 2:30 p.m. your time. Oklahoma starts next Friday night. Was going to be next Saturday, a week from Saturday, and they moved it up to Friday night for some reason, but that's cool. We couldn't hardly wait until Saturday anyway. Our next show will actually be together. Our next show will be in Kansas City. We will probably film it Thursday, and then we will have a Sunday afternoon show that is a instant reaction to some of the football that got played that weekend. Labor Day weekend's kind of the official kickoff weekend, week 1, and we will have a special guest join us for that show.
We will have another special guest. Only our second special guest.
Our second special guest. And I hate to tell him he's not going to be as popular as our first special guest, but that's the way it goes. Between now and next Friday, Oklahoma's home opener against UTEP, University of Texas at El Paso. This is what I want to see in the comments. Who will OU's starting running back be? And what 3 receivers will be named as starters? Who will the starting running back for Oklahoma be? And what 3 receivers will be named as starters? Let's see who can get that one right. And that is the comment challenge I had, Cameron. You've got something else.
Okay, there you go. There's the comment challenge. And while you are leaving that in the comments or just perusing comments in general, you know what you should do? You should like this video. You should subscribe to this channel. We really appreciate the support. Get yourself a mug. We got 3 awesome mugs now up in our online store there. And if you don't do any of those things because you hate blind people, I actually meant to mention that at the top of the show, but I got so excited about all of our new mugs that I totally forgot. But yes, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, drop a comment in the comment section, chat us up, and get yourself a Chip Off the Old Black mug. Dad, you got anything?
I got nothing else, bud.
Okay, we will see everybody next week.
Okay, love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.